Chapter 11, Frontline Hunter. Part 1, Hunter Dispatch Center. Beep, beep. It's the middle of the night at the Hunters Association. In the center of the room, a holographic control console displays a 3D map of Lincoln City. A blinking red dot keeps flashing at one spot. Then, a hand reaches out and silences the alert. Lincoln Hunter Dispatch Center, how may I help you? Stay calm. We have your location. Head to the nearest shelter immediately to avoid another Wanderer attack. Colin, who has been a Hunter dispatcher for 12 years, handles emergencies like it's nothing. He quickly forwards the incident details to the nearest hunters on the map. Almost immediately, 2 small blue dots on the holographic display begin racing towards the yellow one. A timer appears overhead. 10 precious minutes for the rescue to succeed. Deployed medical teams, hazard alarms, real-time positioning now active. The dispatchers coordinate seamlessly, their hands moving swiftly across an array of holographic screens. Together, they weave an invisible safety net over Lincoln City. Finally, the yellow dot disappears from the map. The countdown stops at 8 minutes, 27 seconds. Colin watches the holographic map return to normal. He sighs in relief, sorts through the information collected, and begins drafting his first incident report of the day. Hunter Dispatch Center Incident Report. Case number LK204X01101. Incident type, Wanderer attack. Threat level, C-class. Details. A single Wanderer, an elemental subspecies, appeared in the riverside area of the Imperial Ring District. The target was neutralized, and the cleanup crew has been notified. No civilian casualties. Status, resolved. Reporting dispatcher, Colin. That's a typical day at the Lincoln Hunter Dispatch Center. Part 2, 3-man robbery. 6 a.m. Lights remain on around the clock at the dispatch center. Lincoln Hunter Dispatch Center, how may I help? It's a Wanderer. It's trying to eat us. Hurry. The call has barely gone through when frantic screams nearly burst Colin's eardrums. Stay calm and tell me about the situation to the best of your ability, he says as he hits the location tracker. A young man's shaky voice answers. There are 3 of us and an older lady with her groceries. A loud roar drowns him out. Then it's followed by blood-curdling screams. Are you still there? Hello? Hello? Colin calls out to them, but there's only silence. Next to him, the surveillance officer pulls up local traffic feeds. Captain Colin, we've contacted the hunters on patrol. They need approximately 6 minutes to get there. 6 minutes. Colin feels powerless. This is what usually happens. No matter how fast the dispatch center reacts, it still takes time for help to arrive. All they can do is provide the hunters with a clear route. And then, no! Let me go! Ah! The desperate shrieks returning through the speaker make everyone's stomach drop. Their worst nightmare is becoming a reality. Despite having heard these agonized cries countless times before, watching a life slip away in real time is still unsettling. Before a few dispatchers can turn away, gunfire erupts on the other end. The Wanderer lets out one last screech before falling to the ground with a heavy thud. They survived. Relieved, Colin glances at the map. He frowns when he notices the 2 blue dots are still too far away to have reached the designated site. The hunters haven't arrived. So who fired the shots? That's it, and you call this a robbery? Luckily for you, I took my gun for maintenance while I was out getting groceries. Otherwise, you'd be in real trouble. A confident female voice shouts. Robbery? Gun? Colin and his coworker exchange looks of bewilderment. Before they can say anything, panicked shouts come over the line again. Ah, ma'am! It's standing back up! Help us hurry! What are you doing? Get behind me! More shots ring out. Then the Wanderer's cry fades. Colin sees the yellow dot on the map disappear. Everyone at the dispatch center stares at one another in astonishment. Moments later, the comms crackle, and that same confident voice returns. Hello? Hunter Dispatch Center? Colin responds immediately. Yes, we're here. Is anyone hurt? No injuries. We'll need a cleanup crew for the mess. The response is quick. The Wanderer was an A-type. It's already been dealt with. Also, the security department should be dispatched. The victims were actually attempting a robbery. Please notify the special task force to investigate. Understood. And you are... The practiced precision in her response has already given him the answer. Sure enough, the seasoned, composed voice on the other end confirms his suspicions. Retired Hunter, former Sector Dawn, ID number 10041. Hunter Dispatch Center Incident Report. Case number LK204X01102. Incident type, Wanderer attack. Threat level, C-class. Details. 3 young men attempted to rob a woman near a Bloomshore District Market when a Wanderer, a bestial subspecies, appeared. The would-be victim eliminated the Wanderer with her own hunter-grade firearm. The woman was confirmed to be a retired hunter. Cleanup crew is en route, and no civilian injuries were reported. Note: the 3 suspects have been turned over to the authorities for attempted robbery. Status: resolved. Reporting dispatcher, Colin. Colin finishes his report, glances at the clock, and realizes he missed lunch. He grabs a pack of instant noodles and heads to the break room. Noodles again? A colleague drops the latest Wanderer activity report in front of him when he returns to his desk. The Wanderers have been too active lately. Yeah, it's related to a deep space tunnel anomaly or a protocore malfunction. I hear they sent someone to investigate, but who knows what they'll find. His colleague plops into the chair next to him and sips his soy milk. Ugh, I told the cafeteria guy I wanted it sugar-free. I'm cutting back on sugar, and this just messed up my diet. Hey, at least we have a cafeteria, Colin smiles. The Alpha team doesn't get that luxury. True, but they're not stuck at a desk all day either. The colleague responds. Then he pauses, remembering the grueling practical assessments those people endure. Forget it. I guess I should just be... The communication device at the dispatch center buzzes again. Part 3, the counterfeit protocore case. To Colin's surprise, a familiar voice speaks. Hey, Captain Colin, it's me, Orson. An overly ingratiating tone comes through as soon as the call connects. Can you arrest me right now? Orson, the Lincoln City Police Department's infamous repeat offender, is known for protocore smuggling. Caught countless times, he's always finding new ways to stir up trouble. As a dispatcher, Colin usually doesn't deal with criminals directly, but Orson managed to change that when his greed for protocores led him to target live Wanderers. Back then, a Wanderer had him crawling around like a cornered rat. Desperate, he called the dispatch center for help. Thanks to Colin's quick thinking and precise directions, he survived long enough for the hunters to arrive. Without that, he'd probably be nothing more than a bloody smear under a Wanderer's claws. To show his gratitude, Orson gifted Colin a ceremonial banner that had the following: "The voice of salvation, a dispatcher protecting life itself." You little... Didn't 5 months in jail teach you anything? Colin feels a vein bulge at the sound of that familiar voice. Huh? I swear I'm not smuggling protocors this time. Orson stammers. I'm just selling rock candy, that's all. Orson isn't illegally selling protocors this time. He's making rock candy that looks like protocors. Since his buyers don't dare to report him, his scam thrives. It's even disrupting the market with cheap prices. But his success doesn't go unnoticed. A crime syndicate involved in protocor smuggling has marked him as a target. Orson, you really are a piece of work, Colin says through gritted teeth. Please, Captain Colin, send over a hunter to save me. They've tracked me down and are outside my house with protocor weapons. If they get me, I'm as good as dead. Orson's voice cracks from desperation. As much as Colin wants to ignore him, he knows he can't. Protocor smuggling isn't a minor crime, and dealing with an organized gang armed with protocor weapons is far beyond what a single hunter can handle. Activate the emergency response protocol, Colin states without hesitation. Understood. The surveillance officer's fingers race across the keyboard, and the yellow dot on the holographic map flashes red. The emergency response protocol is a high-level procedure triggered only for threats equivalent to 5 or more wanderers. It requires the coordinated effort of at least 5 hunters. After issuing the order, Colin is worried about whether or not they can gather enough hunters in time. To his surprise, the mission is accepted almost immediately. 2 blue dots light up on the screen, and Colin lets out a sigh of relief. Good. Now we just need 3 more. His words catch in his throat as his eyes widen. The 2 blue dots are charging into the rescue zone. Send a message to intercept them right now. Colin feels his head start to pound. This is clearly a high-level mission. Are they out of their minds? Wait! Excited, the surveillance officer calls out. I think they're from unicorns. Unicorns? Are you sure? Colin whirls around. Every hunter knows about unicorns. They're the best combat unit under the Hunters Association, known for their unmatched power and fast responses. They specialize in tracking extremely dangerous wanderer incidents that regular hunters can't handle. Colin has never met them, but he heard the stories. Their elite sector is small and notoriously unconventional. One rumor claims a unicorn hunter once blew up an entire subway station just to take down a wanderer. They're definitely not the kind of people he wants to mess with. But right now, that's exactly what he needs. Captain Colin, they're here! Orson's voice crackles through the communication device. He's tense and shaky. But there's only 2 of them? Can they handle this? There are 8 or 9 guys. Oh! Orson lets out a startled cry as chaos erupts on the other end of the communication device. It's followed by panicked screams. Orson? Orson! Colin calls out, his voice tinged with urgency, just as everyone is holding their breath. Orson's voice comes through again. Captain Colin, the people you sent are insane. They just showed up and everyone went down. Protocor weapons? They didn't even get a chance to pull them out. Everyone in the room collectively sighs in relief. Good. We'll send someone to pick you up. Stay put. Colin frowns and hears a strange crunching sound from the communication device. Before he can ask, a clear female voice shouts, Xavier, stop eating the evidence! Hunter Dispatch Center Incident Report. Case number LK204X01103. Incident type, protocor smuggling. Threat level, A class. Details. Shellbank District. Orson, a repeat offender with 8 protocor smuggling charges, sought assistance from the dispatcher center after facing retaliation from a crime syndicate over his sale of counterfeit protocors that were actually dyed rock candy. The involved criminal organization has been successfully apprehended. Orson, the reporting party, has been handed over to the relevant authorities for investigation of fraud. Note: a portion of the evidence is suspected to have been consumed. Status: resolved. Reporting dispatcher: Colin. Part 4: City Hero. Lincoln's Joy Sky offers the most comprehensive selection of fresh vegetables and fresh products at affordable prices. Colin steps out of the supermarket. He's holding a steaming box of fried chicken. He stretches, content. His busy day is finally over, and all he wants to do now is head home and enjoy some well-deserved rest. The supermarket is not far from his apartment. All it takes is a walk through the business district and the plaza. It's rush hour, and many parents are walking with their children. The setting sun lights up their joyful figures and casts bouncing shadows on the ground. Colin pauses, unable to look away from this heartwarming scene. It's something he hasn't seen in a long time. As a survivor of the 2034 Corona Rift catastrophe, he, like countless others, knows how hard-won today's peace is. And like many people, he chose to be a guardian of this precious tranquility. But even guardians need rest. At least for tonight, he'll relax. "Mommy, there's a lollipop in the sky." As he passes a small fountain, he hears a little girl shouting excitedly to her parents, pointing up at the sky. Colin thinks the child must be imagining candy in the clouds. He glances up at the sky, but that single look makes his blood run cold. A horrifying howl cuts through the air and is followed by the screams of frightened women. For a moment, no one reacts. Then, massive figures emerge from the dust, their bodies covered in jagged black crystals. "Jenny!" A mother in the distance stares in horror at the spot where her daughter stood is covered in rubble. Her legs give out and she falls to the ground. "Mommy!" A cry rings out. Hope flickers back into the woman's tearful eyes. Ugh. Colin falls to the ground. He rolls a few times with the girl held tightly in his arms before stopping. As soon as he saw the wanderers, he dropped his fried chicken and sprinted over to save her. A sharp pain shoots through his back. He's dizzy, but he forces himself to dial a number on his communication device. "Hunter Dispatch Center, how may I help?" "Wanderers at Silver Bay Creek Plaza. There's 3 of them, and they're highly dangerous. Send backup." "Captain Colin?" The voice on the other end pauses. Then it adopts a serious tone. "Understood. We'll contact all nearby hunters right now." Frustrated, the wanderers shriek. They're furious that their prey has escaped. Their massive forelimbs, reminiscent of bulldozer blades, dig into the ground. They surge toward them again. Clutching the child to his chest, Colin rolls to the side. The monster's limb sweeps past them. It was close enough to graze his scalp. He shudders as he thinks about what would have happened if he had been a second slower. A powerful shockwave hurls Colin through the air. His vision darkens and the world spins uncontrollably. When he manages to lift his head, he sees another wanderer towering right in front of him. The ground trembles beneath its cry. Its massive, compound eyes glint coldly as they turn downward. Energy particles gather in its gaping maw. Just a little longer. Colin clenches his fists. He forces himself to stay focused. Rescue should be here any... Bang, bang, bang! Gunshots ring out in quick succession. A beam of light slices through the Wanderer's attack as 2 figures leap before Colin. "Captain Jenna, we've arrived at the designated location." Colin's eyes snap open at the sound of a clear, authoritative female voice. A young man and woman stand before him. Their movements were swift, like shooting stars. After finishing her report, the Female hunter lowers her communication device and briefly checks on Colin. Confirming he's unhurt, she raises her weapon again. "Let's move, Xavier." Without waiting, she dashes forward like an arrow. The male hunter, now a glowing blur, is right behind her. The Wanderer gathers energy particles in its maw again. It's preparing to launch another attack, but the female hunter is faster. She leaps onto the monster's shoulder and fires her gun at point-blank range. At the same time, her partner's light blade pierces the creature's weak spot. The two hunters kill the Wanderer before it can deploy its protofield. Stunned, Colin can only watch in silence. What seemed like a deadly threat moments ago now lies in pieces at their feet. They must be from unicorns. It's not long before the Wanderers are eliminated. As the last one collapses, applause and cheers erupt from the gathered crowd. Colin claps and puts extra effort into it. "Let's go, Xavier," the female hunter says to her partner. The young man nods and picks up the hot pot ingredients he dropped during the fight. Watching their figures disappear into the distance, Colin suddenly feels that Unicorn's eccentric methods don't seem strange anymore. At least they keep Lincoln City safe. A gentle tug on his sleeve interrupts his thoughts. Looking down, he sees the little girl he rescued staring at him. "Come here, mister. I want to tell you something." She beckons him closer with a secretive look on her face. Amused, Colin crouches down. "What is it?" Without warning, the little girl throws her arms around him. She's hugging him. "Thank you, mister. Thank you for protecting me," she says with a serious expression on her face. Colin watches her skip back to her family. A lump forms in his throat. He lowers his head and rubs his nose to hide his emotions. His gaze falls on the box of fried chicken lying where he had dropped it earlier. The first thing he needs to do is rest properly tonight.